When people talk about animated films, they generally mention the work of Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks, Aardman, and of course, Studio Ghibli. Co-founded by Hayao Miyazaki, Isao Takahata, and Toshio Suzuki in 1985, Ghibli has produced some of the most iconic animated films of the last 30 years. Their work has a universal appeal, with fantastical settings and visuals to enchant children, but also deceptively thoughtful stories with themes that adults can relate to. There are plenty of classics to choose from when it comes to talking about Ghibli, whether it's arguably their most famous film My Neighbor Totoro, the Oscar-winning Spirited Away, the singularly unique Howl's Moving Castle, the underrated Whisper of the Heart, or the charming and deeply relatable Kiki's Delivery Service. However, my personal favorite of the studio's output is Princess Mononoke, a 1997 film directed by Miyazaki which, for me at least, perfectly encapsulates what makes Ghibli so special. Set in Muromachi, Japan, Princess Mononoke follows Ashitaka, a warrior prince who becomes infected by a forest god, and whose quest to heal himself lands him in the middle of a conflict between the spirits of the forest and the humans from the neighboring Iron Town who consume its resources. Representing both sides of this conflict are San, a human girl raised by the forest gods, and Lady Eboshi, the leader of Iron Town. The conflict between man and nature has been explored countless times in cinema, so what exactly is it that makes Princess Mononoke stand out? For me, it's Miyazaki's nuanced approach to the film's characters and central conflict. As much as I enjoy the films of Disney, the conflicts in those films tend to be quite straightforward. There's an obvious hero and a clearly defined bad guy. There's nothing inherently wrong with this, but there is something to be said for how Princess Mononoke rejects the idea of such a black and white dynamic. Miyazaki himself said that he believes the idea that whenever something evil happens, someone in particular can be blamed and punished for it, in life and in politics, is hopeless. Few would argue that San isn't a hero. She's fighting to protect her home and the only family she's ever known, and since her only experiences with other humans have been with the ones who are trying to destroy all of that, she has every reason to hate them. But this hatred also clouds her judgment. It's hard for her to see humans as anything other than pure evil, which is why she finds herself confused by her own feelings for Ashitaka and angrily rejects her own human heritage. Meanwhile, Lady Eboshi is the story's antagonist, a single-mindedly ambitious industrialist whose goals pose a direct threat to the forest and the creatures that live within, which she seems indifferent to. However, in spite of this and her occasionally cold-seeming personality, she can't exactly be described as a full-blown villain. She genuinely seems to care for the poor and downtrodden people she's created a home for in Irontown, and she believes that her actions are all in service of creating a better future for them. If you look at her from the perspective of her citizens, she's a woman who defied traditional gender roles and created a thriving community that welcomes those rejected by society. Which sounds like a hero. We see all of this through the eyes of our protagonist Ashitaka, who spends some time with the citizens of Irontown and also with San. Ashitaka sympathizes with the plight of San and the forest gods, but unlike them, he does not wish to see Irontown and Lady Eboshi destroyed. Like Miyazaki, he believes that the only true way to end this war is for man to live in harmony with nature. Continuing on the destructive path they are on can only end with the inevitable destruction of both sides. Princess Mononoke is a rich and thoughtful fantasy epic with multifaceted characters and resonant themes, but it's also incredible on a technical level. The score is suitably sweeping and epic, the action sequences are visceral and gripping, and, as one would expect from any Ghibli production, the animation is absolutely gorgeous. For all these reasons, I consider it to be Miyazaki and Ghibli's crowning achievement. And that's no small feat.